Everyone goes on about the strongest, the overrated, the omnipotent algorithm-loving shinies, the absolute weapon. Why is any of it relevant in the Poket Men world? It's because you want to be the best, right? You want to negotiate with your parents to kick you out on the street to age 10 just so you can go be a trainer. But they keep telling you, why are you sure about this? The other kid down the road just slumped the champion, got a winner's purse of like 150 quid. You want to be a trainer, but Pokemon training ain't gonna be cheap. You know how many calories a Metagross needs just to levitate? Destroy the entire ecosystem of Viridian Forest just from the amount it'd eat from thinking too hard. So trainers are going to be doing whatever they can to generate that dollar, the dollar they need to fund the strongest, the overrated, the shinies, the weapons, whatever they need to be the best trainer possible. Cause locking eyes of other kids carrying out illegal mandatory mugging for their pocket money, that's not going to get you anywhere. You're going to need to scout out the most valuable Pokemon, talking 64 slices of Galarian cheese, ones that blind you from the amount of cheddar they're worth. Team Rocket are always broke, even though they've been spawning military-grade weapons on a weekly basis for 20 years now. So how are they doing this? Who's funding this? Who is enabling you three? Their funds would have got cut faster than James's first voice actor. I'll tell you what it is. It's the gift that Gab Cat Prince Gold from his foreheads. With claws or something. I don't know the science behind it. I just know that somehow this cat spawns money. So farm up a few of these, just let them breed money. Meowth and Persian being payday users straight out of the egg. That has to make them one of the most sought after Pokemon financially. Or at the very least, the TM for the move would be worth bank and you're never getting a hold of it. So who's everyone gonna be after? They're going to be after that Pikachu. Meowth, your time is money, and you don't want to waste either using TMs to teach you to something else. It's payday, not pay tomorrow, pay next week. You want that tax-free dollar right now. Why do you think Giovanni himself has a Persian desk side? The most successful businessman that world has seen. Your man has a net worth high enough, he might as well have action replay. Had a cybernetic Mewtwo, yet who's always in the office? Who's with the suits and the little bit of the bubbly desk side, and not downstairs with the goons and their calling? Sure, he could calling Crocodile to whip you into shape, but he'd rather set Persian on you, so at least he can make a little bit of profit from you so you weren't a complete waste of time stepping into his office. Arguably the rarest breed of the rarest type. You know how kids grow up, they want a pony or something for Christmas? Or is that just the thing shows that, I don't know. In Pocket Land, they're gonna be asking you for a Dratini. The difference here is that ponies are expensive and difficult to maintain, and Dratinis barely even exist to begin with. These things were thought to be extinct until they were rediscovered. Even though it's been found, it still gets called a mirage Pokemon. Actually, nah, it ain't so much your kid asking Santa for a pony, it's like I'm asking for an Amur leopard. And back in the days when like two colors could be in the screen at the same time, this was the only known dragon species. So before more known regions piped up, dragons as a whole were like a myth that only like 10 people have ever seen to begin with. What even is the lifespan of a clam? It seems like a wide margin. No idea where clam pearl stands in this lifespan, which is probably what makes its pearl so valuable. Spoink has enough stress trying to manually pump its own heart, let alone having to find one of these to power itself up. This pearl's the difference between Spoink being an actual Pokemon and just animal. But whether clam pearl has a lifespan of 500 years or a carnival prize goldfish, in that lifetime, a clam pearl produces just the one, 10 times the price of any of those Fugazi Shelder branded pearls. So Shelder can produce pearls. Let's say one's having a good day, he chunders up a big boy. The kind you sell in Gala for 12k. One with that official clam pearl price tag on it, that'd be gone for like 120k then. So based on yen, that's only about $1,000 depending on where you are. But clam pearl doesn't have to sit around for 100 years to cook up that 1k pearl. It happens once it evolves. Pearl hunters gonna be changing professions into the pearl breeding business. The casinos back in Pokemon before they got peggied used to set you back a lot of funds if you wanted the top prizes. The conversion rate for coins isn't the most forgiving thing in the game. 50 coins equals 1,000 Pokedollars, so 1,000 coins equals 20,000. Then you're gonna want to times that by 10 based on red version's pricing anyway, and that's how many Pika pounds it's gonna set you back if you want a copper Porygon at factory price. Or you can waste time on the slots and play your luck a bit. or sniff the floors on the daily looking for dropped coins. But if you convert from yen, it's not as bad as the 200k of Poké Dollars that they actually call them. I didn't just come up with a dumb synonym like I do with the word Pokemon. They're actually called Poké Doll. Legal tender in the orbed companion world is actually called Poké Dollar. But either way, Poké Dollars, Muck Coin, Reggie Rupees, 200k is 200k. In Kanto's current economic climate, you could either straight up buy a Porygon, factory sealed without the risk of gambling, or buy 2,000 Pokeballs. You could potentially get 2,000 Pokemon or one 3DS Max tutorial piece. And just for reference, Dratini, the Mirage Pokemon, that thing no one sees, something which was long considered to be a mythical Pokemon, something which fisherman Baz stumbled upon looking for his 6th Magikarp, thus confirming its existence in the first place, is worth even less than this. Clampearl may be able to conjure up a rare pearl, but Carbink saves you the effort of waiting for that to happen or forcing evolution on it. Already got plenty of pre-installed gems on him right there. Now Carbink, they're not rare at all, but neither are diamonds in the first place. That's just a lie you've all been conditioned to think from evil, money-hungry corporations. Like Microsoft with Minecraft. But that doesn't change the demand for them and the insane amounts people are willing to pay for them just for a quick photo shoot for the gram. Either way, you're still gonna have people trying to mine them and sell them on for a massive profit, which is gonna be a bit sketchy. This is probably gonna be one of those outlawed hustles like Team Rocket selling Slowpoke tails. And they're not gonna go down easily, be mining for some gems and one of them vaporizes you with its forehead. They're not just gonna let you harvest them, but that's not exactly stopped poachers before. I'm sure many morally questioning decisions will be made in Pokemon's scuffed world, but what kind of sadistic weapon is willing to crack open the gold of a Cofagrigus? Probably that same guy trying to scam me into buying a Slowpoke tail an hour after leaving home. The body of one of these lads though, that might actually be worth the amount that tail salesman was gassing on about. A Cofagrigus is meant to be covered in pure gold. It'd have to be one of the most valuable Pokemon in existence. So you know people are gonna try and harvest that. They're gonna try and pull a Walter White and earn some of that risky money. Instead of risking getting into beef with the cartel, you risk getting eaten alive by a ghost. You wanna try and grave dig one of these, you better be prepared not to leave. I cannot respect the hustle here. Grave robbing isn't it. They're made to look like money, smell like money, purely to lure grave robbers in, looking for all that gold. But it might look like a good idea, but this is a dry brain hustle. You trying to prize some delicious golden nugs from a spooky coffin and get yourself eaten alive? Hey, that's on you. Go for it. That's not a hustle. That's natural selection. Any shiny is going to be worth an insane amount, but the red Gyarados has history behind it. In a world full of mythical creatures, you'd actually feel like you own a myth of a creature. If all Pokemon had a price tag, Gyarados would be insanely high to begin with, because that trade ain't happening legally, let alone one with a genetic mutation caused by forced evolution. Even just for being a staple Pokemon, and especially if Magikarp Jumping were a legitimate competition, a well-trained golden Magikarp would be worth millions. So not even just the red Gyarados, the golden Magikarp be worth just as much, probably even more just for the gimmick of it being a Magikarp. You'd have to think there'd be a weird appeal of having a one-of-a-kind version of a Pokemon that's so common. Because you know for sure, having a golden Magikarp would be a top flex. I've caught 85 Pokemon! Beat that dork! Oh, are you still talking? Are you still going? I've already told you. I've only caught one. I've got the gold carp. Now go get me a kebab. Being a mythical to begin with, that's gonna make any Pokemon in the top 1% of valuable pets to begin with. But Melmetal's on another level, because its ability is where the money's at. Any businesses that rely on steel mills, they're gonna be set with Melmetal on the payroll. Maybe its powers are limited though, and one Melmetal alone probably wouldn't produce enough iron for any huge business. But that's where once you have one Melmetal, you get them to plant us some Meltans, and then you get them on the apprenticeship schemes. At this point, once you've bred enough Melmetals, that could probably be your business. You'd be the main source of iron for every other manufacturer. Or you could go a step behind even that and become a Meltan breeder. Massive sums would be dished out to get a mythical Pokemon this powerful and useful from an egg. After a long hard day of rubbing jewels with your fellow Carbink, who do you think you'd report to? The mutant Carbink, the freak Carbink with limbs, oh look at it, who transformed and now has these brittle, tiny, childlike hands that can reach places in the jeweler market that my large adult hands can't, and are somehow dense enough to compress the carbon in the air between them. Diancie is the metal of diamonds, so it's one step higher based on the Minecraft hierarchy. So how rare diamonds are is completely manufactured for profit. You get Diancie on your side, that's exactly what you're gonna do. People already pay top dollar for diamonds as it is, and you've got the ultimate source, but not just any source. People are gonna pay real top dollar for them Diancie diamonds. Diancie got them PSA 10 diamonds. You get me? So what could be worth more than a diamond printing machine? One that could give you a factory of diamond printing machines, with a factory floor filled with metals and an entire department dedicated to hoarding copper grigus. Jirachi can make that and anything you want happen for 1 week every 1,000 years. There's no debate about this one being the most valuable Pokemon in existence, considering its spawn rate is only about 1 or 2% above Jesus. As much as I avoid it, for this topic, Jirachi is the Arceus of wealth. Not even just money, because what people find valuable is really subjective. Not everyone cares for thick boy stacks or lots and lots of gold. And this whole list so far has mostly been based on value in that sense. But Jirachi transcends the peak of bucks. It can get you anything which you personally find valuable. So a Pokemon that can give you anything you want is the undisputed most valuable thing in existence. I guess second to whatever you'd wish from him.